everyone. Welcome to another episode of Wow You Can Cook. And today I'm super excited because it's actually a recipe that I am going to cook tonight for dinner, salmon croquettes. Hey, Dr. G, thanks so much for preparing this amazing recipe for us.
Thank you. And I think you should tell everybody how you stick your nose into everything. I think they could have a laugh about that. Tell them what happened this morning.
Okay. So this morning I was at CrossFit and we were doing this WOD going between the bike and overhead squats. And I had a barbell over my head doing squats and I finished my set. And when I stood up, I brought it down right onto my nose.
Oh no.
And so, yeah.
So she texted Dr. Mom and said, here's what I did. So I told her what to do right away, but it's not swollen. We can't see any swelling.
It is totally swollen. There's a bump right here. You just can't see it because Zoom has amazing filters. So when you guys see me face to face, just know, okay, that I use a Zoom filter so that I look better on camera.
I didn't know Zoom had filters. So what you see is what you get with me. Wrinkles and all.
So really quick, I just want to share a tip because, Dr. Gloria has the floor most of the time. So Alaskan salmon season is coming up. Okay. It's in the summer and it's always wild. It's imported from Alaska. So what I do is I buy several of the fillets from Costco and then I cut them into strips like this. And then I freeze them individually, and then I wrap them and then put them in a bag together. And that way, all year long, I have fresh, well, it's not fresh anymore, but I have really good tasting, delicious, authentic Alaskan salmon. Okay.
Yeah. And that's a great tip because especially if you wrap them real well, Tracy, right? Because otherwise
you don't cook it though, Tracy, right? You don't cook it at all.
It's not.
No, you do it raw.
Raw. And the other thing that you can do that way, like when I was in Washington State that I miss so much, is the halibut. I love halibut, but there's a very short season. So like Tracy was saying, when it's in season, then do the same thing. Cut it in pieces that are suitable for how many people you're going to feed and wrap it really well and then double wrap it. And it's amazing. What I've also done is use the an olive oil what am I trying to say? Marinate with the salmon and lots of garlic and freeze it with the olive oil and the salmon. It's amazing because it does. If you poke the salmon a little bit, I've never tried it with the other fish, but if you poke the salmon with a knife in several places and really dip it into a bowl with olive oil and lots of garlic, no salt, no pepper, just garlic and olive oil, if you like garlic like I do, and then freeze it. It's like you just put it you let it defrost just a little bit and then throw it in the pan and it gets more flavor. So that's great. Yeah. My freezer here at the apartment, freezer burns everything. So I don't do a lot of that here, but when I'm at my home, I do. Magda, is your air conditioning out?
No, I just don't have it on yet.
Oh, geez. I was going to say.
I'm waiting a little bit, trying to conserve a little bit because it's still kind of cool outside. I'm not cool, but it's nice outside. But
it's nice. Okay. You were fanning and I thought, uh-oh.
I know.
AC probably went out. Okay.
Hot over the stove.
Right.
Are you cooking, Magda?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And just so you guys know, if you see me popping pills, it's arnica. Okay.
Okay.
It's what I just told her to take. Yeah.
And
okay.
Welcome to Judy. So let's get started.
Yeah, let's go. So, Judy, hi. Welcome. Okay, so let's start out with, is everybody using canned salmon like I suggested, or did you have like leftover salmon? Okay, everybody's thumbs up if you're using canned salmon. Those of you that are cooking today. Okay, perfect. Okay, so since you have the canned salmon, I'm not going to go through other procedures of how to cook it. I use canned salmon, or if I order a big salmon steak in a nice restaurant, I always eat half of it and the other half I refrigerate and tear apart and use it for this. So it's a great way to go ahead and get a nice steak if you're treating yourself out, but not have to eat the whole thing. You've got 2 meals out of 1. So question, those of you cooking, did you already make my homemade Worcestershire? Nancy, go ahead, quick. No? I can't hear you, hon.
I know, sweetie. I didn't do your Worcestershire, but I just wanted to say I'm using fresh salmon from Alaska that I cooked. I steamed it and I
Okay.
broke it up.
Okay, that's great. Just make sure it's broken up a lot so that you can actually get it into a patty.
And
Because if
can
it's
I
big
ask?
pieces, Nancy, if it's big pieces, the patty will fall apart. I'll tell you right
It's
now.
not.
It won't stay
I-
together. Okay. Okay, ask quickly because we've got to get on.
Yes. So the Worcestershire sauce, if I'm not going to use it, what can you use instead? Anything?
Yeah, a little bit of soy sauce, or if you have dark soy sauce, that would be great.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, just a dash. Don't make it too salty. Just a dash, hon, just to give it that
Okay.
extra zing. Okay.
Thank you. I got to run. So thank you.
Okay. Okay, hon. Bye-bye. Safe driving. Okay,
Thank
so you've got your fillet or your canned all broken up. That's all you have to do with that. It's that simple. What you're going to do now is you're going to start mixing everything separately in another bowl. You're not going to start cooking yet. And that is and I know Tracy wants all the ingredients so we can get it on the slide. So what you're going to do is I used a half a cup of panko breadcrumbs. And of course, I only use gluten-free. You can use any breadcrumbs that you have, especially if you're staying gluten-free. Make sure that they're well toasted. And then I put them through a food processor, a little food processor, just to make them into crumbs. Again, if you have chunks, I failed the first few times I made this recipe because I had chunks of leftover salmon and I had chunks of bread, and it makes it fall apart. It will not keep it together. So you need to have it almost like it were a hamburger patty, okay? That consistency so you can keep it together. Then you're going to add everything else. Throw in your quarter cup of fresh parsley or cilantro. They're both delicious, but very different in flavor. So use the one that you feel like having right now and try it with the opposite the next time. Then 2 tablespoons of dill pickles. Chop them up finely, real fine. Again, you don't want chunks because remember that chunks will make them fall apart. 1 large egg. Now, I've made the mistake, and I want you to learn from my mistakes. We all share our mistakes when we screw up. I've actually put it into a food processor and just tried to pulse it all because it was easier. With the egg, does not work. The egg has to be whipped so that you get the air into it and then add it to your mixture. Add your salt, but if you're using Worcestershire, whether it's store-bought or my homemade one, or if, like Nancy asked, if you're using a soy sauce because you don't care for Worcestershire or you don't want it, be real careful. Don't use the salt until the end. And because the salmon's already cooked, taste it. Taste the mixture so that you can adjust the salt and pepper at the end. Then you're going to put in 1.5 teaspoons of dried dill. Now that's real conservative. I think I used, 2 tablespoons of fresh dill because it's so good and it gives it that tartness that you want with fish. And then 2 tablespoons of pickle juice. That is the secret ingredient in there. And then the rest of it is whatever oil you chose to use, whether it's coconut oil or avocado oil or grapeseed oil, which you would fry with so that you can get it nice and crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. Don't cook it too much so that it doesn't dry out. Jill, was yours moist last week when you made the patty?
It was. It
And
really
did
was.
you put enough oil in the pan? Did you have a little more than what I had said?
I actually did, yes.
Yeah, I have to too sometimes, but people say, well, okay, it's too much oil, but you're not going to eat all that oil. It's not going to absorb it all. Pat it with a paper towel afterwards so you're not, if it's too greasy for you. Magda, you had a question.
Yeah, so my can of fish had a lot of juice in it, so I drained some of it because there was a lot of, I guess, water in it.
Yeah, water. I don't buy any fish that's in oil. I always buy the one in water.
Do you have to drain it first?
Yes, you should drain it. And that's a good thing that you asked that. You should drain it, but don't throw the water away. It's pure water with salt to preserve the fish when they can it. So save it
later.
No, wait a minute. I'm not going to ask you to drink it, honest. Tracy's going, oh no, here she goes. No, but if it's too dry, if when you make your patties, you feel they're a little dry, it's better to add the oil, the water from there, and then you can discard it.
Okay.
Because otherwise, what are you going to add? You're going to add more Worcestershire or soy, you're going to get it too salty. So adding the water, as long as it's not packed in oil, and I don't like anything packed in oil. And I'll tell you right now a reason for it when we get finished, because I was in Alaska where they actually can it and they were only doing water. And I said, why don't you can in oil? This is years ago, before I realized how bad the crummy oils are for us. And they gave me a good reason. So don't use canned anything in oil if you can resist it, in the fish department especially. But yeah, that water makes a good moisture. So make your patties. Now you can add your tuna. I'm sorry, your salmon, or if it's tuna, the same exact recipe for the tuna. It makes tuna elevated to a whole different level, trust me. And then just make your patties. Make them nice and firm, but don't make them too thin because the fish is already cooked. Even Nancy bought the fresh salmon, but she cooked it beforehand. So it's all cooked. You're not eating raw fish like sushi. So make them like a nice thick hamburger patty. And you can dredge them in more breadcrumbs if you'd like. I sometimes do, and sometimes I don't want any more breadcrumbs. So that is strictly up to you. So go ahead and make your patties, and let's fry them. Judy, are you in North Dakota? Yes? Love it. She knows to do the thumbs up. Okay, so I've got to see how many are cooking here. So while they're doing that, let me remind everybody that the reason that they told me that they do not pack in oil anymore. Now, this was, I'm trying to think of the year, but it was in the 90s when the last time I was in Alaska. And the guy at the cannery said we stopped doing that because the oils can get rancid with the fish in the can. And the water doesn't, see? So a good point, because I know sometimes I'd open a can of tuna and I always used it with oil, thinking I was doing the right thing. And it was a funny smell and I couldn't, he said that's the rancidity. So always get it with water. You can add your avocado oil or olive oil or whatever you want later. Now, for those of you that haven't been on our calls, Tracy and I have gone to great lengths to share with all of you why we don't use other oils, because they are toxic. They are carcinogens when they get heated or when they're a oil. And we did a whole handout on that, didn't we, Tracy? Yeah, the oils, which ones to use, which ones have a high smoke point. So grapeseed oil is great for frying. It's healthy because it takes a real high oil, like if you're doing a stir fry. You can use coconut oil or avocado oil. But if you used olive oil and you got it that hot for a stir fry, it can become carcinogenic. Okay? Most Italians do not use oil for cooking. Pardon?
Magda has a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't see your hand.
No, that's okay. You said that it's not good to buy fish in oil, right? But we eat this stuff all the time, which is the sardines in olive oil. And
yes, now I
can't imagine this being in water. That wouldn't taste good.
No. Thank you. See, that's what I love about us sharing, because she's right. Sardines are in oil. I can't imagine it in water either. I buy them in oil too, Magda. Okay. I'm still experimenting with them because I still don't like sardines. I'm trying to make a nice pate that tastes good, so that I can.
French bread. It's delicious.
Yes, yeah, but I need to experiment more, because I made it a couple times and didn't like it. So I want to have it like, I love a pate foie gras, which is duck liver pate, trying to get the same type of consistency and flavor, and I haven't accomplished it yet. So as soon as I do, but yes, you're right. That one it's not optional. They do have to do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so can I comment? So I have these like Magda. I have this brand that she showed, and I have Wild Planet. These are both in oil. However, because I also heard what Gloria said, I have these in water that I got on Thrive Market, and they taste really good. But I do have a lot of these I want to use up. but I'm Sicilian, so I really love sardines.
Oil.
Well, I
you
love
love sardines.
sardines. And the thing is I mix it with avocado oil mayo like I would tuna because I don't eat tuna.
Yes.
So I use
Yeah.
this instead of tuna.
And
Oh.
that's great, Tracy, because I buy from Thrive Market all the time, and I didn't know they had the sardines in water,
Yeah, by Wild
that they
Planet.
taste good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wild Planet is the tuna and the salmon I buy. So there you go. And if some of you don't know about Thrive Market, there's all kinds of Thrive companies. Like I use my eye makeup is Thrive Cosmetics. It's different. Thrive Market is a membership, so you pay annually, but they deliver free of charge. So I get things from them I can't get from other places. So it's a great, thank you. I didn't
And
know
their
they had it in.
prices are better than like if you were to buy these at your local grocery store. I'll post a link for you.
Yes, please.
But they're
Yeah,
better.
they tell you what the retail price is, don't they? And then they give you the membership price.
Yeah, and if they see that you buy something when it goes on sale, they'll let you know. And
Yes,
yeah, so that's really cool. And
it is. I'm impressed with all of their whole system. Yeah. The only thing I didn't like was that don't, oh, and that's another thing I wanted to tell all of you. I just had an episode with a patient. Do not order groceries delivered like I do from 2 grocery stores, as I live out in the Tules right now. When I can't get out and go grocery shopping because it's an hour ride, I order from Whole Foods or from HEB in Texas, which is famous. It's my favorite store of all times. Do not order anything that has to be refrigerated other than maybe eggs when it's 100 degrees outside like it was here. So Saturday we went shopping. We got our cream and our butter and our eggs and our sour cream and our yogurt because they don't refrigerate it. I didn't know that. And so it's 100 degrees outside, and all of these subcontractors that work for the grocery stores deliver in their personal cars. And they just, the grocery bags were just in the back seat, and he opens the door and puts it on my front door. And the bags were hot. So don't do that. If it's, unless it's an absolute necessity, don't order groceries delivered that have to be refrigerated. A couple times I didn't have a choice when Brian was so sick coming home from kidney dialysis. But it wasn't 100 degrees. Now that it is, there's no way that I would do it. We just order the heavy things so we don't have to lug them up the stairs to the apartment, but we don't order that. I still have to run down and get those. So just most people don't think about that. It's like probiotics. Don't order probiotics in the summer, whether it's from, my institute, if you're a patient, or if it's online, stock up before it gets really hot, because those probiotics are good up to body temperature. If it's beyond that, they start deteriorating. So you're paying for a really good high potency probiotic, and it's been sitting in some UPS truck or some mail truck in some warehouse. And by the time you get it, it's probably less than half potency. So we try not to ship probiotics for the patients that I work with in the summer. And most of my patients for 30 plus years are trained. They put it on their calendar like in April to stock up for the summer, because they know that it's not going to be good. So just keep those things in mind while you're making your patties here. Okay. Jill, are you done? Your patties?
They're almost done. They're flipped. They're looking beautiful.
Okay, they're flipped.
Flipped.
Good. Did you dip them in more breadcrumbs, hon, or just what you had in the mix?
I didn't. Just what was in the mix.
Yeah, you don't have to. But if you want them extra crunchy, that's when you dip them again in breadcrumbs. Okay, Magda, did you bread them again, or did you just use the breadcrumbs that were?
I'll do the second half with more breadcrumbs.
Okay. Good idea. Sandy, how you doing, dear?
Do you guys
Can you
know
unmute
how
her?
much you're loved? Literally, like it is just amazing when we see you on these meetings. Just, I hope you feel that.
I hope so too, because it's about also sharing and helping each other. I mean, I understand what vision problems are. Okay, so who else is cooking? Linda, did you use any breadcrumbs on your special diet for you and your husband?
I toasted a piece of Ezekiel bread and put it in my food
Oh,
processor.
good. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. Another thing that I've done when I don't have bread, because I don't eat a lot of bread, but I always keep some gluten-free in the freezer, is that I've taken the almond crackers that are gluten-free, which are delicious, made by Simple Mills. I've taken the almond crackers and put them through the little food processor, just a tiny one. And those are delicious too. But when I do those, I like them on the outside as well, because it's a whole different crunch than the breadcrumbs.
Oh,
So
so that's not in the recipe.
no, but you
Okay.
can do that. You've bought the almond crackers, haven't you? I know you don't
A
eat
long time ago,
crackers
I was gonna use panko, pork panko.
Pork panko will be delicious in that. Yes.
I can only use a little though, because it's really strong and I don't like it when
It
it's,
is strong. It
I-
is strong.
I only like to use a little bit.
Do you have any crackers that are gluten-free that you like that you could smash up?
No,
No? Okay. And you don't have breadcrumbs of any kind because you don't cook with them.
no.
Okay. That's okay. You'll have
I
just a
did
little
make that
panko's
egg
fine.
white bread. I could always take the egg white bread and toast it and
Yes.
then in the food
Toast it.
processor.
Absolutely. Try and then let us know. That's a good idea. Make the egg white bread, get it really toasted, and then put it in your food processor.
Okay, I'll try
Okay,
that.
so Jill's cooking. Magda, how you doing?
So mine are, they want to fall apart, actually. I'm keeping them together, but they want to fall apart.
You're gonna have to
did
have
you have
Jill
big
come over. Look at hers. They're
Yeah,
perfect.
I know.
Who?
Jill.
Yeah,
you're
hers are perfect.
amazing.
It's a
That is
perfect
beautiful.
recipe. But it's also high altitude and dry here. So it might make a difference on a recipe like this.
You know what? It
Yeah,
may.
crispy. They're so good.
Magda, do you think maybe if you add some more panko that it would help keep them together?
Well, that's what I'm hoping. My second batch is not in yet, so. And how
Yeah,
much
add a little
oil
more
do you put
panko.
in? How much oil do you put in?
Pardon? What kind of oil?
Yeah,
And
how
how much?
Oh man, it's hard. It's so hard to judge because I use probably 3 tablespoons of coconut oil when I cooked mine. And in the recipe, we've got, I think I only have, what do I have in the oil? I don't think I put how much oil.
Let's
I'm
see.
having that visual disturbance again, guys, so I
At about an
apologize. that I
eighth of a cup, which is 2 tablespoons, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I use 2 or 3, usually 3, because I want them in enough oil that it makes it crispy up to half. Here's the rule, so that it is half up the thickness of the patty, so that when you flip it, you've got the other half cooked. Otherwise, if it's just barely on the bottom and you don't want to use a lot of oil, you're going to have a hard time getting them brown because the edges will not be brown.
Yeah,
see what
maybe
I'm
that's the
saying?
problem. Maybe I need to add a little bit more oil.
Yeah, add a little more and see, and try a small one. Just try a small one and see if it stays together before you use all of it.
Okay.
And see if it's didn't you make them before, Magna?
No, I made the potato salad, but not these.
Oh, that's right. Okay, all right. Okay, so Linda, you're doing okay with your patties?
Yeah, I think I may be ready to take them off. So we'll see. Gotta come look
Okay.
underneath them.
Do a show and tell when you take them off. So for those of you that aren't cooking, or for those of you that are just joining us, you can see that we're very casual. We have a good time. We share the accomplishments and the screw ups as well. But that's how we all learn. I mean, I've thrown so much stuff away after cooking and doing cooking classes for patients for years, that there's times that I just, like right now with the sardines, I'm really trying to get it good. Okay, Jill, what you got?
So try
You're the
it.
one that doesn't like tartar sauce, and yet you liked my tartar sauce.
It's delicious.
How is?
It's moist and crispy, and the tartar sauce is good.
And you made a jar of my Worcestershire, didn't you, last week?
I did.
Yeah, so you used it in there. See, the Worcestershire gives it a different flavor than soy sauce, but if you don't choose to make it, the jar will last. I mean, just think of Worcestershire sauce. They don't even refrigerate it in restaurants. that when you make it fresh, I think it would last for weeks. Oh, look
Good
how
job,
pretty
Linda.
those are.
Wow. Those look great,
Linda,
Linda.
Beautiful.
And
Those are
that's
great. So
with
Go
mozzarella
ahead.
cheese in it. That might help hold them together a little more too.
yeah, Magda, throw some cheese in. Throw some glue in.
Next time.
Next time.
Whatever kind of cheese. I like sharp cheddar, but I know that the alternative recipes say mozzarella because it's stringy and gooey. But I like extra sharp cheddar if I'm going to put any in. Or another one that's easy, if you eat cheese, is Parmesan. Gives it a wonderful flavor. If that's all you have, try it.
Sandy's busy cooking.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get her unmuted. Sandy, can you unmute yet, sweetie? Can't find it. Okay. Just show us your fabulous patties as soon as you get one done, okay? Just show it to us. Do a show and tell. Yeah, she's having a hard time with her vision. Bless her heart. And she's always here and she's always cooking with us.
Yes.
Tastes good.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
Tastes good. They're just falling apart, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How are they, Linda? Did you try them?
They're great. And I add a little bit of the Bragg's aminos on the
Yep.
top to just give it
Oh,
a
on the
little
top.
more flavor.
Okay, not in the mix.
Well, I actually, and I don't know if I looked at another recipe because I got to figure out stuff, but I ended up using a tablespoon of lemon juice and a tablespoon of the Bragg's instead of what was
The
it?
Worcestershire.
Yeah, because
the
I couldn't find
Worcestershire.
that. So I think I kind of looked it
Okay.
up. So it
But
tastes
here's
great.
a good point. Remember that we always say, and Tracy and I have said this 1,000 times, if we said it one time, a recipe is a guide. It's not set in stone. And Linda's a perfect example. She and her husband have to be on a special diet. And so she used, I love lemon with anything that's got to do with fish. So adding some lemon juice is perfectly okay. And then you added the Bragg's, which is the replacement for, that's all I use for replacement for soy sauce. So that's perfect. That's what you should do. You have to adjust for your individual dietary needs and your taste. I mean, like me trying to work with sardines and get them to be really good where I like them. Okay, Magda, how you doing? Are they staying together?
Kind of.
Doesn't sound too promising.
So let's
Magda,
troubleshoot
Magda,
that.
one of mine broke. One of
Yeah.
mine broke in half.
Okay. Okay.
You just kind of push it
Okay,
together.
it still tastes good, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. Tracy?
I just think we should troubleshoot this for the people listening to the replay and those watching that are going to make it later. So what do you think would be a good solution to keep them binded together? Is it that maybe hers were in too big of chunks? Or what do you think we could
Okay.
do?
Good point. And you're
Like
right.
another egg.
It's several things. Yeah, was what, Magda?
Another egg, maybe?
Yes, another egg can do it, but sometimes the egg will make it mushy
Oh.
and then they just get flat. So I would say go ahead and experiment with either more breadcrumbs, make sure you have plenty of oil, and cheese. If you can eat dairy, even if it's vegan cheese, it doesn't matter. I've made them, not these, but I've made the tuna ones, which is exactly the same recipe with with sharp cheddar and Parmesan both, because I'm a cheese nut and I can't have it too often. So when I do, I really want to taste it. And the Parmesan and the sharp cheddar was amazing. I just grated it, put some in, and that acts as the glue as well. So, oh, Sandy's unmuted.
Well, I went over to my phone.
Okay, so did your patties come out okay?
Well, they didn't stick real good, but here they are.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. They're still patties. Have you tasted one yet, Sandy?
Yes, oh yeah, they're good.
They're good. Did you make the Worcestershire sauce and And the tartar
No,
sauce or
I
not?
didn't.
No?
I couldn't get one of the ingredients.
Okay, as long as they taste good. And again, if you're not using a tartar sauce, a squeeze of lemon over them before you eat them is really good. Like Linda
I
did.
made the
Just a
tartar
little-
sauce.
Oh, good. So you do have the tartar. And how do you like
Yeah.
it? Good.
Oh,
Good. Well, I
good.
think if I can get a seal of approval from Jill, I'm okay because she doesn't like tartar sauce. And she liked it. So that's a good endorsement. Gonna have to say approved by Chef Jill.
Can I share something else, Gloria?
Yeah, of
So
course.
when we were talking on Thursday about enzymes, and you talked about the
Yes.
extraordinary enzymes and how those are better for protein and fat only. This is the one I
Correct.
use when I have any types of carbs like vegetables and things.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the extraordinary enzymes, I was going to cover that this Thursday as well. So it's a good reminder, Tracy. I use the extraordinary enzymes from Life Extension for fat and protein. It says right on the bottle. They're formulated by doctors with all the enzymes that break down the fat and protein, which is why we'll go into it again Thursday because of gallbladder issues, liver and gallbladder. But those, let's see the front.
That's the front.
I haven't used those, but if they're for, if it's the combination for carbs and sugars, that's fine.
Well, it has protease, it has bromelain. I mean, it has a whole bunch. I'm just reading the ones I'm familiar with. Lactase.
What does it say on the front? Does it say for carbs and sugar?
It just says advanced enzyme formula. But it
Yeah,
has
see,
it has protease, wait, cellulase, which is for carbs, bromelain is for carbs. It has
That's
like
out of pineapple, yes.
10 different ones, a lot I haven't heard of. So
Yeah,
sent
it's
you-
okay.
I sent you a label or a
okay.
picture of this a long time ago and you said it was good.
It was good. Okay. So again, if you're going to order Life Extension, for instance, they have the one that is called super digestive enzymes. I hate these names. Those are for carbs and sugar. So either the one that Tracy has, or because she's had experience with it, or the one that I've used for umpteen years with my patients. Super digestive from Life Extension that you can get online or through Life Extension if you're a member are for carbs and sugar. For fat and protein, it's extraordinary enzymes from Life Extension. And I have my gallbladder, thank God, but with all the liver issues I had and my liver shutting down in the 90s, I do not do well if I eat fat and protein without taking an enzyme. Or we're going to talk Thursday, which is a little teaser for those of you that can join us on Thursday on Waves of Wellness. I'm also going to talk about which bitters, because most other countries, especially European countries, use digestive bitters, and there's several different ones. There's several blends. One isn't better than the other, but I found that the one that works best, I will give to Tracy so she can put the link on next Thursday. But it's an amazing combination, but everything has to be in moderation and everything has to be rotated. Just like if you take the same probiotic and you think, oh, I got a big dose of it, it's 100 billion organisms, so I'm going to buy it forever and keep taking it. It stops working. You should rotate a minimum of every 60 to 90 days. I rotate every month. I'll take one capsule that's 60 billion, then next month I'll take 100 billion, then I'll take 80 billion, whatever I can get at the time, because the pharmacies that we order from don't always have the same one. Depends on how much of the raw materials they can get. So the same thing with enzymes. Your body will get used to it and it'll stop working. And I have patients say, but I've been taking my enzymes and they did really well. Now I'm getting heartburn and indigestion again. It's because they didn't rotate. So I like what Tracy has, because if you were using the super digestive, for instance, you could rotate it with what Tracy found. I haven't used those, but she's had really good luck with them. So now I've never found anything pardon?
When these are gone, I'll switch to the other one. I think that's a really good point. It's just like food.
Yeah,
you
and
eat something over and over.
Exactly. You can't eat you know, and I can prove it with the scans that I do on patients. Darlene has proved it with what she does as far as her type of scanning, to see that when you eat something the same time, you usually the body starts rebelling. If you ate spinach every day, it's going to show up on your report as a negative, that your body doesn't digest it because you're eating too much of it. Jill, you had a question, hon.
Well, I just wanted to make a comment about the patties sticking together, because I remember when
Yeah.
I first made like a tuna patty, and I'm not even crazy about that, but I was a young newlywed, and they were falling apart. And I patted them out just like my mother would pat a hamburger patty. And my mother-in-law said, well, you really need to go ahead and pat it down, leave it thick enough, and then work around the edges. Carefully, really work and
Right.
pat it together, or they will fall apart. And that's the way I do them. So I don't know if that'll help anyone if you're not going
Oh,
around.
that's a great
Adding
tip. You're right.
tight.
I remember mom doing that. Yeah. Okay. The other tip that my mom used to do, my grandmother, was she always refrigerated them with wax paper between for at least an hour before she cooked them. And when they were cold,
Great.
then she could put them in and they didn't fall apart. Tracy?
That's another good idea. I was just showing, like, I do it with my thumb because I make hamburgers a lot, and I go around and I push it in
Yeah.
with my thumb. So I suppose you could do that. And you know, for Jorgen, I bet you could make these with tofu or tempeh or something, like shred it all up and make the patties with that.
Yeah, I
Right?
bet you could.
Tempeh would
And
be
Jorgen,
good.
I'm working on 7 new vegetarian recipes, so you'll be getting those soon. All in the name of Jorgen, to help him.
Yes.
It's very lovely, but I eat like a vegan, so I don't eat dairy and eggs, and so but
Yeah,
keep
no, I know you don't.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm creating them, some without any of that and some of it with some minimum or some options. Because those of you that don't eat eggs, I have a lot of patients that can't eat eggs. They make the flax egg. And have any of you put your thumbs up if you've ever made a flax egg out of flax seeds rather than eggs? Like when you bake, or when it's not like you can use it for a scrambled egg, but whenever you're adding it, like to a patty, does the same thing as an egg. It's a flax egg, and I have the recipe for that. It's really simple. So you don't have to have eggs. There's an option for everything, which is why I spend my weekends at the kitchen. And this weekend I had a hard time, I'll be honest, because my eyes are doing that weird thing again with looks like I'm looking through broken glass. And when that comes, I get that weird headache. It's not a migraine. And when that happens, I'm looking at stuff and I'm seeing like 2 measuring cups and 2. It's really hard. So I did get 5 recipes done, but it wasn't easy. I had to do it over 2 days instead of 1 day this week. So that was a little challenging, but I got it done. So I'll write those up soon, because Tracy has a schedule that we keep so that we know what's next. And Tracy, do you want to tell them what's next? Or do you want me to? Sure.
I was just looking at that. Hold on, let me find it. It's on the blog already, I think. And
It is, and I made it yesterday, and it's delicious.
it is. Go back. I always follow along with you with the recipe. I just want to read it exactly right. It is the protein-packed pea salad and dressing. So this can be made vegan.
Yes. And you can also add like chopped up roasted chicken, or, you know, anything that you want to add some. I even have a patient of mine that commented a couple of weeks ago that she had made that, and she had her neighbors, it was their anniversary, and her neighbors brought her these phenomenal filet mignons, and they were so big that they cooked dinner for, the neighbors cooked dinner for she and her husband, and she couldn't eat it. So she chopped it up really fine and threw it in as a cold salad for them. They're in Arizona, so it was hot. And she said it was absolutely magnificent. She never thought of putting steak in it, but her husband said, well, chop it up. It's too good to waste. And, you know, steak like that, when you try to reheat it, isn't the same. It gets leathery, even a filet mignon. So if you chop it up, you have a nice steak and you chop it up, put it in cold. I'm starting to do some recipes as of after today for things that you can use in the summer so that you don't have to be in the kitchen so much. And so that you can have different recipes for picnics or gatherings or to church or whatever. So it's going to be a packed. Oh, and the other thing I've done when I can in some of the future recipes, I'm giving you the nutritional background. Like when I say protein packed pea salad, the first thing my patients did when I was teaching this is peas don't have protein. Well, I gave you all the nutritional information so that you know the ingredients in the recipe and where you're getting your carbs and your sugars and your protein, etc., so that you know. So I'm going to do that when I can. Can't do it on every one. There's not time, but I did do it on the pea salad because I've already been questioned about it. So it's in there. The nutritional information is in there. I think you have that on the recipe, don't you, Tracy?
I'll have to go back and find it, but
Okay, that's okay. But it's on the blog already. It's on the website already. I saw it this morning, and thank God our website's back up.
I
yeah.
see
Yeah,
it.
it's back up. It's working great.
I
Pardon?
see it on the blog, but when I try to open it, it's not taking me over to the recipe like
Me
it
too.
normally does. So you might check it, Tracy.
Oh,
Let me check it right now.
Oh, me
Okay.
too.
yeah.
I like to do
because they
that
did
when
have
I
those.
before I get off, so
Yeah,
I got the recipe. So thank you.
exactly.
problem.
And
I'll check
they
it really
did have
quick.
those glitches.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, check it so that
Okay.
it's
Hold
not
on.
going through.
It will. Hold on. Just let me get there.
She'll do it.
I-
She's Wonder Woman. We know that.
She's magic on all that.
Okay, let's see here.
Okay, so for those of you that just joined us, I see some new people on the screen. Welcome. And we're talking about the recipe for the protein-packed pea salad next week, which will be easy, won't be cooking on a hot stove. It'll be a great salad. And I recommend, even those of you that may not be thrilled with radishes, I recommend that you buy some nice radishes because you're going to regret it if you don't put it in the salad. It's so good. And because I have trouble chewing because of my jaw, I take the radishes and put them through our the same thing Tracy and I have talked about for so much, my little food processor, and I put it through there and it shreds them. And then I mix it and it gives it a wonderful flavor. They're not too hot and they're easy to chew for all of us that have teeth or jaw problems like I do. Mine is the jaw. I just don't have the strength after the surgeries.
Okay, so
Did
I
you find
checked it. I checked it, Jill, and you're right. And I messaged Peggy to have her fix it. So when you click on the link to go over to that next blog page, something's broken. So check back in about 15 minutes and it should be good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, perfect. And thank you for telling us. Yes, anytime you find a glitch like that, let us know so
Yeah.
that we can fix it.
Yeah, we know people to
Okay,
fix
so yeah, we do. We've got
We got
connections.
friends in high places.
So we do. And they're all working so hard. We've got so many wonderful new technologies and programs coming that I hope all of you will heed the invitation from Cynthia to join us all on Wednesday and on Friday this week, because there's going to be some wonderful new technology shown, I believe, on video as well, right, Tracy?
Yeah.
I think that's what she's planning. Yeah, to show you a video, not just say this new technology is going to do this. We actually have a video of it working on real people like us, not some dummy, but yeah. So it's going to be exciting. So make sure that, and I don't know which day, but you better listen to both if you want to know, because it's really important. And that's why Cynthia sent out that great letter. So I encourage all of you to do that.
All right, you guys.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I can't wait to make it tonight. I'll post a picture in the chatty chat when they're done.
Take care of your
Thank you,
nose.
everybody, and
Thank
I
you.
hope you enjoyed it. It's an easier recipe, but you've already learned some tweaks that you can make to it to make it adapt. And don't forget, if you like tuna like I do, don't forget to use canned tuna. It's delicious. Use the same recipe and just adapt it however you like, whether it's rags or just lemon juice or whatever you need for your specific diet or taste buds. Okay. God bless.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. And
Bye,
we will see
Sandy.
you next Monday. But
Thank
before that,
you.
you'll see us on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Take care. God bless.
Bon
Bye-bye.
appetit, everyone. Much love.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us.
Get it to work. Yay.
Bye. Thanks for joining us.
Get it to work. Yay.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Lori, that's so cute.